Hey, everyone, and welcome to Building with Vitality, the podcast that's all about helping you live your best life.
And we're your hosts, Nikki and Paige. We're going to give you all the tools to help build a life that's full of vitality. Let's dive in.
Welcome back, everyone, to Building with Vitality. Paige and Nikki here. Today, we are going to talk about energy, but first and foremost, I want to just remind everyone that that is part of our mission at Building with Vitality here. We just want to reiterate how important it is to take care of ourselves so we can show up better for everyone else.
Love it. I love it.
Yes.
That is a really good mission that we have.
I mean, I'm a little biased, but I kind of like it.
So we had a guest on that told us we need to start spreading the mission a little bit more because it is becoming more and more prominent in today's age where, okay, we want to be better in one area, but how do we become better in that one area? You have to become better wholly.
Yes.
And then you can extend that.
Yeah. So our episodes have kind of been, I mean, I wouldn't say random, but we've touched a lot so far on health, mindset, hormones, even some business stuff. And it's just reiterating the fact that it all is this intersecting web that the more you take care of your body, your mind, your spirit, the better you can show up in relationships, your job, all of it.
All of it. All right. Well, we are going to dive in today. So there's a trending topic right now that's basically talking about energy takers versus energy givers. And so one, just think to yourself for a second, because I even had to do this.
That is a loaded question.
Think to yourself, are you an energy giver or an energy taker? And if you don't know, you're probably a taker. And how you can identify this is think of a time where you did something, maybe it's a favor or whatever it is for someone else, and you didn't really need recognition for it. It was just like a quick favor and you were helping someone else. That is how you know if you are an energy giver. So to start off, Nikki is going to share some of the things that make you an energy giver and what make you an energy taker. And we'll just kind of go from there.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. So to become an energy giver, you need to cultivate enough energy within yourself. And so if I don't have my own energy and I'm coming from a place of lack, then I can't give to you at all. Mm-hmm. And so first and foremost, we need to cultivate it within ourselves. So how do we do that? That is through the music we listen to, working out, taking care of ourselves. It's the other people that we're around. So there's this concept of we are all made up of energy. Every single thing on this planet is made up of energy.
This chair is energy.
Yeah, everything has a vibration. And so when we are surrounding ourselves with positive vibrational things, people, then that also helps give us energy. And so nature has a perfect vibration. And so another thing to increase your energy is to go out in nature, to go do a walk. And then, so we're talking about energy as a whole, and that does include your physical energy, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's all these aspects too of getting enough sleep, taking care of yourself, eating food. Food is fuel. And so if you are not fueling yourself, you probably don't have energy. And so just the physical aspect of it, but then also the mental, emotional aspect of it too. Mm-hmm. And I've also heard the term, are you a fountain or a drain? And so just like thinking about things that do drain your energy, and then that like kind of just radiates from your aura, and you kind of sometimes become this like taker drain and you don't even know.
Yeah. I mean, on that note, I would say too, if you consistently go more toward negative thoughts or versus positive thoughts,
right,
that can really, really bring down your overall energy and your frequency. So I think, and we speak about this a little bit, but when you have those negative thoughts come in, and this could be you're talking negatively about your boss, your coworkers, your friends, or whatever that is actually depleting you of energy. Mm-hmm. So like, cut it.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Cut it out.
Cut it out. Just cut it out.
Cut it.
Yeah.
Shut it. Anyone seen New Girl? Shut it down.
Paige has literally done that to me a few times.
Shut it down.
Just stop. And another thing too, to maintain your energy so you can be a giver is learning how to say no. So that is a big one that I feel like I did a really bad job at. So I was actually talking to our friend Jess this morning when I was at the gym, and we were talking about how we have been in the past, we have been those people pleasers that are like, oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do that. And then we've given our energy and our time so freely that then it makes it so we don't have enough energy for ourselves. And then we kind of become drains. And then we also don't have enough energy for our deep connections. And so I think also just being really cognizant and aware of who you're giving your energy to, because when we say energy giver, that doesn't mean that you just give it out freely to everyone and anyone, especially if, you are in a position where people are constantly asking for your time and your energy. You have to be able to distinguish and be able to put up boundaries of when and where and how you give it.
That actually reminded me of, so Adam Grant did a TED Talk about this where he said that the lowest performing people at jobs were energy givers, but the highest performing people at jobs were energy givers. So it was the energy givers, the highest performing energy givers were the ones that knew exactly who to give the favors to, when to disagree, when to fight, like the ones that were like truly, truly passionate.
Yes.
And they knew how to navigate that. So it's super interesting.
That is really interesting. Yeah. And a lot of it comes back to intention of why are you giving your energy? Is it to please someone, like look a certain way, or is it to actually like because you are passionate about it and you want like the bottom line to succeed?
And you're not going to be perfect at this, but like do know, like the best thing I can think of is when you're working and there's always that taker. We had a joke at my last job where it's like, okay, 10% of the company, so 10% of the people that were actually running the company. And everyone else was just like the takers. Right. Yeah. And they were like, but they were agreeable takers, meaning you can fake it. There's disagreeable takers and agreeable takers. So there's different times that you have to navigate through. But the best culture that you can actually bring into your company are the ones where you're making sure that you're promoting collaboration. You're making sure that these individuals feel comfortable being energy givers so that you don't have a company full of majority of takers and then a couple of the energy givers, because those energy givers that are going to actually help bolster your company, those are the ones that are going to be like, well, so-and-so doesn't do anything, or so-and-so's negative, so I'm not motivated, or, whatever the case may be.
Right. Yeah.
So you want to get those bad apples out of there.
Right. Yeah. And I think just like one of my favorite questions to ask in interviews is, how do you like to add value to people in your life? And so that's kind of like a big thing of, whenever I've been at jobs or working with someone or consulting or whatever I'm doing, I always am like, okay, I want to make sure I'm adding value to this person and I'm not just, a freeloader.
When you help others win, you win.
100%.
That is like kind of put in the easiest, simplest way.
Yeah.
It can be like a quick 3-minute favor. It can be an introduction. It can be anything where you're adding some sort of small value to another person that you're not having to extend tons and tons and tons of energy.
Right.
But I think it's also just remembering at heart, okay, how do I keep and stay optimistic so that you can also recognize where you should give your energy?
100%.
And that, I feel like optimism for me is absolutely huge and crucial, especially when starting a brand myself.
Yeah.
Because there's things that definitely happen and will happen. And I can see some of my energy getting a teeny bit depleted when I lose a little bit of that optimism. Right. And I have to like get myself back up and be like, okay, no, that's not how I want to play this game.
Okay, but so how do you get yourself back up? Like when you are in a space like that where you're like, oh, I'm so scared. Like did I do the right thing? Like, what am I doing? What do you do? Besides call me?
Yeah, no, literally. Well, number one, I look at what I've done that day. So I'm like, okay, I worked out. Sometimes I have to go for a little walk. I just bought a walking pad and it has actually done wonders for me.
I need to get one.
A 10-minute like quick walking pad where I clear my head for a hot minute. I also like to put on really vibey, fun music. For me, like I was a dancer growing up. So if I hear some nostalgic music or really high frequency music and it just boosts my mood a little bit, that actually helps me a ton. And it's something I can do in that moment, right? I can't just like go into a quick meditation when I'm on a time crunch.
Right, yeah.
Like my brain just like doesn't work like that. I have to do things that are really quick, like, okay, walk. I'm going to listen to high vibrational music. Potentially
literally,
call a friend.
Paige has a playlist called Frequency that she added me to on Spotify, and it is amazing.
It is important though, because those are the small things that work for me when I have to get out of a rut. And then I hired a branding strategist, and we're going to start getting some things out. And that's actually a question he asked me. He's like, I've worked with a lot of founders who are really optimistic at first and they're super excited and like gung ho, which gets me excited. But then like months and months down, when things aren't going the way that they forecasted, they start to go down this spiral. And he's like, it's actually really scary and like tying myself to another startup founder.
Right.
And so he asked me that. He's like, what are you going to do? Like, I don't want to have to come drag you out of bed when stuff happens or things like that.
Right.
And so I was like, yeah, like I am intrinsically an optimistic person. So that is really helpful. But there are practices that I have to do to remain that way because I also don't want to put that onto my employees. It's not my employees' job to raise my frequency. It is my own to hold that energy and power. So I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah.
And think about all of these other startup founders that are having a really, really hard time when sales aren't going the way that they were supposed to. They're, having to present to investors and it's not looking great. Like then they go down that spiral, which makes it even worse. And then they're not open to opportunities from the universe.
Right. It's like this dichotomy of, okay, I'm already struggling and doing bad. And then when I'm focusing on struggling and doing bad, it's just going to make me struggle and do worse.
Yes. And so the quote that I also like to tell myself is, things are happening the way that they're supposed to.
I love that.
And it's just like, it's not like the most positive saying, but it helps me stay neutral.
Yeah.
There's a book called It Takes What It Takes, and it's all about neutral thinking. And sometimes if you can't think of something really ultra positive and like that is really, really hard for you, but you don't want to have those negative thoughts, it's all about factual neutral thinking. And that actually helps me a ton when I'm like really struggling.
Yeah.
Because usually, again, I'm like the most optimistic, positive person.
100%.
But even sometimes I'm like, okay, what are the facts? I have to be like down this center on that neutral path right now.
But that just shows, I feel like I was on the end of like toxic positivity where I was just like, okay, just change my mind. I feel great. I'm happy. Like it's all, and so I do like the concept of neutral thinking. One of my favorite quotes back when I was at my last company was, "It is what it is." Because we were dealing with some crazy stuff and a lot of it was out of our control. And so I would just tell my team, okay, it is what it is. And this is the reality of the situation. We cannot change this. So we're going to focus on what we can do and do our best. But at the end of the day, like we can't be in this moment, we can't be super attached to the results of it because that's out of our control to a certain extent. Yeah. So
no, it is really interesting though, when you think about all these different sides and where we even were 5 years ago,
right?
Where it's like, okay, wow, if we would have known what we know now, which is why we have this podcast for you guys.
We still don't know everything. We're still learning as we go. But I do feel like, I know for me, like I've done some things great and then some things probably like not so great. And so hopefully our mistakes will help you guys.
This is one of the things I would say on the optimistic side and just like being an energy giver that has helped me the most in my career get the farthest. I do still think that a lot of people are intrinsically takers because they've been through really negative experiences in the workforce. Yeah. So that's also another thing of coming out of that, right?
Right.
Because you can get burned. Like you've gotten burned.
Yeah.
And then you want to like stay away and you're like, no, I'm not helping anybody, right?
Right, yeah.
But it's like, okay, no, like let's just come back to center and figure out a way to still be a giver, but to the right people and
exactly.
X, Y,
and that's why it is, it's so important to really cultivate your own intuition and feelings and not be naive. I do feel like in certain aspects, I was naive in my career. And so again, like to eyes wide open, like I love that phrase of, okay, I want to be trusting and I am trusting, but I'm going in eyes wide open of, okay, I'm distinguishing who to trust. And that's the same with friendships too, of I love everyone. I try to be kind to everyone, but like I just have that like inner circle of people that I trust with my life and trust with my deepest vulnerabilities. And to me, that's important because not everyone, I love Brene Brown is all about vulnerability. And she says not everyone is worthy of your vulnerability.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, we got off on tangent of vulnerability, but I think that kind of to wrap up the becoming an energy giver, I think if you could take anything away, it is trying to cultivate your own energy and not being kind of the victim mentality of trying to take that from someone else. Granted, sometimes I've done all my little like tricks and things, and I do need that extra support. And so Paige is amazing. And her and like our small group of friends, we like know how to boo each other up and help. And so sometimes I do need that extra boost, and that's okay. And I think kind of learning how to ask and to receive is important. But to always, I mean, I even audioed you this morning and I was like, hey, I want to talk about your stuff today and like really see how I can help you, because the last couple of days I've been through like a lot of hard things. So I feel like I've actually taken like a decent amount of your energy from you. And so I want to make sure I'm giving back to you. And so anyway, just being aware, I think is of, because relationships are give and take, but especially in the workplace, making sure that you are providing value. Like that's your focus.
Yes.
Okay. So just to reiterate, we went through how to be an energy giver. We just want to quickly touch on a few things that take away from our energy and then make us sort of a drain. So I would say a lot of times, I mean, I have seen this in my life where it's so easy to disassociate from things and you just kind of like zone out. You maybe like get home, watch Netflix, and that is draining your energy, especially when you're just doing that as a way to like completely disassociate. And then also clutter. Like that's a big thing for me. I used to, honestly, in high school, like that was, I had a messy room. And now I like, it's so important for me for my energy to just have things like, I have kind of become a minimalist in a lot of way of when I have like a ton of stuff around me and just like clutter, that drains my energy personally.
Yeah. I think like figure out what drains your energy too.
Exactly.
Like take
Everyone's
inventory,
different.
because I mean, I don't shy away from telling people I actually don't make my bed every morning, but I would consider myself a pretty solid individual.
Yeah.
Where like Nikki has to make her bed every day. Like it crosses off the list, da. So figure out like what your things are that deplete you of your energy.
Which I do want to say, if my parents are listening to this episode, they're probably laughing because I was not like that again when I was younger growing up of like, wait, Nikki makes her bed every day? What?
And I'll leave you with the quote I already said. When you help others win, you win.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for listening to Building with Vitality.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more.
Love you guys.